Welcome to Money Justice Inside the Courtroom with Tim Felice.
Hey everybody, welcome back to an all-new episode of Money Justice Inside the Courtroom with attorney Tim Felice. I'm your host, Mike Leon. Tim is the founder of Felice Trial Attorneys, a Florida-based personal injury firm known for taking on serious and catastrophic cases in the courtroom. He's got 20 plus years experience securing major verdicts and also devoting his time to teaching trial advocacy to lawyers across the country. Today's episode, we're going to talk about what it's like to send that advocacy and pass it down to the next generation of folks that are getting into this profession. So, Tim, good to see you as always. What inspired you to start helping the future wave and training these attorneys? And how has teaching changed your own trial work experience?
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me again. This is the topic that I really love. So what inspired me to start training? When I started getting really serious about learning how to get into a courtroom and really understanding the psychology behind it, how you present, where you stand, I was enlightened. I went to a trial lawyers college seminar. See, I had become a lawyer partly because of Gerry Spence, and he had created something called the Trial Lawyers College. Now it's currently Gerry Spence method. And I went out to California and I worked with some of these lawyers, and I got taught some things that the greats have been using and teaching for years. And it really, it kind of resonated with me. So from there, I met a guy named Dan Ambrose, a dear friend who runs Trial Lawyers University and formerly Trojan Horse Method. I started taking his seminars and learning, and I saw how it was helping me and the lawyers in my office. And kind of started getting good at this stuff. I've followed and started learning. And I mean, I watch Courtroom Video Network for fun. When other people are sitting around watching other TV, I'll sit down and I'll watch a trial. I'll watch some of the greats, Nick Rowley, John Romano. I will watch these guys, what they've done in trial to learn. And seeing what they've all done, and I've gotten to know most of these people and some of the greatest trial lawyers in the world, I started learning all the different disciplines or methods, so to speak. And once I figured it out, I wanted to help other people. And what I found was that Dan had asked me to go out a couple of times to go present on a couple of the verdicts that we had gotten using some of Gerry Spence method and Trojan Horse method and some other things. And I loved it. I loved being able to help other people. So then I start doing it now, and I do it whenever I can, in person or via Zoom, webinars, seminars.
No, it's great to hear. And let's explain a little bit of it. So first, let's start with trial advocacy. Explain what that is. Where does it show up in personal injury cases? Is it something with respect to the jury selection, your opening, your cross-examinations? Explain it for folks.
It's everything. So trial advocacy, it's really everything that goes into a trial. From the moment you meet a client, you're preparing for trial. We're getting stories. We're learning about the client, right? So, but trial advocacy itself, the stuff we teach, is how to properly present. The biggest thing is, how can you make that person be themselves in front of a jury, right? Because you can't be a robot. I can't be Gerry Spence. I can't be Joey Lowe. I can't be Nick Rowley. I can't be John Romano. I can only be me. But there's so many lawyers out there that just try to read and watch people and just try to mimic them. The biggest challenge I find is, and where it comes up in personal injury, is for the lawyers, is learning how to be yourself in front of a courtroom. In front of a jury, I mean, in a courtroom. And it's not that easy in the beginning for people. You know, it's very nerve-wracking. But so trial advocacy itself is literally how you speak to people. How you can feel it yourself, active listening, feeling what the gifts that the people are giving you, whether it's your witness or a defense witness or the judge, or even a wink from a juror. But as it relates to personal injury, even though I teach trial advocacy for the skills to be able to stand up and to properly talk to a jury during jury selection, to be able to get up and stand up and tell your client's story in opening, and then follow through with all of your witnesses to add to that story, to cross-examine the defense witnesses in a way that adds to your story, and ultimately tying a bow on it at the end with closing argument. There are different skills that we learn and we hone and we practice for each one of those parts of trial. But all of those skills, they all can be applied going back to the very first time you talk to a client. And it's learning about them and learning their story. And it's how you talk to adjusters. It's how you talk to defense counsel. It's how you talk to the judge during hearings. So trial advocacy is made to make you a better trial lawyer, but ultimately those skills can be used throughout the entire pendency of the personal injury case.
Tim, let me ask you, for lawyers out there that struggle with confidence under pressure, what practice methods do you help them with?
When it comes to pressure, it depends on where the pressure is coming from, right? I mean, it's always internal, and that deals with power. And Gerry actually, in one of his books, How to Argue and Win, he had a chapter on power. That's what really got me when I was reading. That's the first book I read. I don't even know how long ago. One of the reasons why I became a lawyer. But we're looking at what it feels us inside, the pressure we have to go speak in front of people. It's just power. And we try to explain and teach that that's a power you're giving over other people that they don't have over you, right? So if the stressors that they have are being able to get up and speak, we get them up on their feet. That's what we do. The best way to do this, the best way to get over things is to do it. It's not to sit back and listen to someone lecture. It's not to watch a television show or even watch a trial. It's to get up, get on your feet, and start talking. So that's one of the biggest things that we do. We physically get them up and talking. And I remember the first time that I ever did this. And, I'm a little bit overweight and I'm self-conscious about it. And I remember I stood up and I started talking. This was in an opening statement seminar. And Joey comes over. He's like, let it out. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, let it out. So I let my stomach out. He goes, come on. You got to be you. You have to be you. And it was funny because once I did that and I stopped holding my stomach in, I left it out. And then I just started telling the story of my client. All the issues went away. All the stuff in my mind, the pressures that I had, like, oh, am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to say the wrong thing? Or am I going to not say something? All of it went away. And it became just a free-flowing conversation with the mock jury at the time. So when it comes to stress, it depends on where it's coming from. But getting people on their feet is the best way to do it.
Tim, how do you teach lawyers out there to develop, a clear case theme that really connects with the jury?
The first thing you have to do in every case, if you're going to present it, if you're going to stand up there and speak for somebody else, you have to be able to become that person. And I don't mean you have to act. I don't mean you have to pretend to be them. I mean you have to crawl into their skin. You have to know them intimately. For lawyers that think they can hop into a case and hop in on a Friday, go pick a jury on a Monday and give an opening statement that day, and they don't meet the client, they're out of their mind. You're never going to tell that true story. It's got to be authentic and it's got to be real. And you have to start with your client because that's what this is all about. We need to understand what it's like to be in a wheelchair. We have to understand what it's like to not only be in a wheelchair, but to transition yourself from a wheelchair into a shower without having someone there to help you. We have to understand what it's like when you have to have adults take care of your own body, right? I have a saying over here. It's on my wall. It's from Gerry Spence. It says, You cannot expect the jury to do anything which you yourself will not do. If you can't learn about your client, if you can't understand them so that when you're talking to the jury, it's your client talking to them through you, then you shouldn't be doing it. You got to go back to the drawing board and you've got to learn. So the biggest thing you can do when coming up with themes, or it's really not a theme, it's really the story of the case. And that starts with your client. And then the presentation all starts with you. But you've got to learn the client. You have to learn what's happened. You can't guess. You can't just go in there and talk about, oh, it really hurt him. It's really bad. No, when he lifts his head up, it hurts. Now you got to talk about the 26 empty or partially empty, 7-Up cans, because someone with a neck fusion can't drink the very bottom of it without a straw. It's the little things in life that you need to learn about. You need to know how it affects that person, how it hurts that human being, and the people surrounding them.
Tim, I understand that you're building a modern courtroom in your office. What are some of your plans for this once it's completed?
Yes, I can't wait. This is a long time coming. We started this before COVID, and we've had nothing but problems with everything. We're almost done. Yeah, we're building about 1,000 square foot courtroom. And the plan is to bring in lots of different lawyers from around the country to come in and teach other lawyers here. Local lawyers or either other lawyers that want to fly in. So I'm going to be putting on seminars. And when we say seminars, we don't mean seminars in my office where we're going to get up and talk to people. We're going to get up and talk, and then we're going to get them up, and we're all going to be doing stuff. There's going to be, mock examinations, mock opening statements. We're going to work on the skills of cross-examination. We're going to do all of these things, and we're going to have hopefully some of the greatest trial lawyers in the country. They've already told me they're willing to come on down, and we're going to start teaching people. Dorothy Sims is a lawyer that works with me. She's the greatest lawyer in the world for destroying defense doctors. Her and her husband, who's a medical doctor. We're going to be putting on seminars to help people learn about advocating for people with traumatic brain injuries. Many lawyers don't understand the nuances when it comes to TBI cases. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be bringing in, hopefully, some of the public defenders in, because Trial Lawyers University has its own separate kind of training that they perform, that they give to criminal defense lawyers. So we want to give back to the public, and we want to help the public defenders as well. I'm looking forward to it. We're almost done. A few more weeks.
So let's talk about then the training for lawyers. How does training lawyers with this new expanded courtroom, how does training lawyers translate into better outcomes for the injury victims?
It's like anything else in life. The more you hone your skill, the more you practice, the better you become, the better your end result is typically. So my goal is to help other personal injury lawyers, and not just lawyers in my office, lawyers everywhere, because rising tide, raises all ships. I want all lawyers out there doing better, not just for my clients, but for every client. And if I can help 10 lawyers just get incrementally better, and they can do a little bit better for every one of their clients. If I help 10 lawyers, I've probably will, over the course of my life, will have helped maybe 10,000 injured people, other clients that I'll never meet. I'll never know their name, but they will have gotten a better result because of some wisdom that I've imparted or some help I've given some other lawyer that does the same kind of work.
Tim, let me ask you as we land the plane here on this episode, as you look ahead to the future, what changes do you see coming in trial advocacy, and how are you preparing lawyers out there for that future?
So trial advocacy, it changes all the time, right? Because jurors change, people change. The population of the country now, the population of the state of Florida, the makeup is different now than what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. 20 years ago. So we always have to learn and adapt. Like, for instance, one of the biggest things that we found is that there's not as much attention from jurors, especially younger jurors. So we've adapted and we've tried to shorten trials. Where years past, you might see a big verdict and after a 2 or 3 month trial, where now we try to distill it down. So it's a matter of giving what the jurors want, right? Your story's about your client, but you have to give it to the jurors in a way that they can understand it and that doesn't turn them off and keeps their attention. So one of the biggest things we see now ongoing is kind of a shorter attention span and less patience. So they would rather more get to the point quicker. Whereas years past, the mindset was, well, the more story you give them, maybe the more interesting it will be. So that's one of the biggest things I see going on right now.
Yeah. Tim, thank you for the time and insights as always. We truly appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
And thank you to everybody out there watching and listening to this episode of Money Justice Inside the Courtroom with attorney Tim Felice. Look, teaching trial advocacy isn't just about helping the lawyers, like Tim said. It's about raising the standard of representation for the injury victims everywhere. And if you want to learn more about Tim's work, do me a favor right now. Visit injurytrialattorneys.com to reach out to Tim. And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a review and comment, or share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. As always, I'm Mike Leon. We'll see everybody next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.